Hello, my friends. Welcome to what is now the second installment of the Made by James freebie allocated mini course series. I'm going to be doing one of these every quarter from now on as my little gift to y'all. Little Americanism chucked in there for all of my American friends. So, the Go Get 'em course, that's what we're going to be going after today, and I am super excited to get into this. This is going to be, I'm going to try and do this in one hit. Do you know what I mean? Timmy's down there with his little camera, as always, you know, and I said to him, we're going to do this in one hit. So, there's probably going to be a lot of babbling, a lot of chatting, but it's what we do, mate, innit? That's what we do, Timmy?
Yep.
That's what we do. Let's see if we can seamless this through. So firstly, happy fucking new year. Do you know what I mean? Here we are again, beginning of 2024. 2023 was a bit of a wild one. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of people who did well. I know a lot of people who didn't do so well. And there are a lot of people in the middle. Yeah, I don't know what the reasons were for it. I don't know why. But I'm really hoping that 2024 is a really, really, really good year for you. And I know the things we're going to be talking about in this little Go Get 'em course are going to be super, super helpful for you. But, like, firstly, I have to do something really, really important, which is to thank my friends at Danique. Tyler and Alex, good friends of mine. They have actually sponsored these free courses this year, which allow me to take some time out of my day to make sure that they happen for you. And what's brilliant about Danique is that we align on so many things. I mean, you'll all know that I don't fuck around with doing like loads of paid ads for loads of different people. It's not something that I've ever been particularly keen on doing. And instead, what I'm looking to do is partner with some fantastic brands doing some fantastic things that align with me personally on the ways I like to do things. And Danique build schools for people around the world with their profits. They help creatives. They give creatives the opportunity to build their ecosystems through print materials, production stuff. So, Danique, thank you. Everybody go follow them. Say thank you to them because I wouldn't be able to do these free courses without them. All right? Thanks, Danique. Thanks, Danique. Say thanks, Danique, Timmy.
Thanks, Danique.
Thanks, Danique. Excuse me, I've also got a bit of a cough. Mission 2024. So, Made by James. Before we start getting juicy, this year shit's changing. For the last 20 years, I have been focused very much on like servicing clients, building clients' dreams. And over the last few years, I've kind of, as you probably know, been evolving into more of an educator, more into a designer that helps the designers, opening the gates, trying to gift as much knowledge as I possibly can. And 2024 is the year I'm going to be leaning into that. I've got some super, super exciting things that are happening. I can't talk about them just yet, both in the design world with reference to agency work and also the educational space, which I'm growing. But my aim is to become the best goddamn design education space on the planet. Made by James Daily. That's the big aim. And my aim is just to eventually offer free design education for the world. It's going to be a long journey to get there. Excuse me. It's going to be tough, difficult, but I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take a little sip of water, Timmy, just because I don't want to cut any of this out. Right?
I'm not going to cut that.
Saves you work, to be fair, doesn't it?
Means I don't do anything.
You're not doing a lot right now, are you, to be honest? Sitting there vaping like some sort of teenager. Fucking hell. Right. Let's go into it. Today's focus. So today, Go Get 'em course is going to be all about planning, goals, objectives. Like for me, I'm like you. I'm a creative. I am somewhat disorganized, somewhat messy. But over the years, the more I have leaned into applying more control, more goal setting, more target setting, more measurables, the more I managed to achieve. And over the next decade, I have big plans, and I'm going to break those down for you to some degree and show you how my mind is thinking with reference to how I'm going to execute from here on in. I've always had plans, but the plans have been like, oh, maybe I'll do a course this year, or maybe I will go and coach in the future, or maybe I'll go and speak on stage, you know. But these plans are great, and I've managed to make them happen, but now level up time. Okay, so today's focus is we're going to be talking about what we do before a plan, what we do when we're coming to make a plan, and then how we execute the plan. Before the plan, making the plan, executing the plan. Okie dokie. So, first stage before the plan. One of my very good friends, a chap called Sasha Strauss, said to me once, and actually said it on stage when I was at the Into the Woods conference, Lincoln Design Co's conference. And he said something powerful that stuck with me for a very, very long time, which is, if you don't position yourself, you will be positioned. And that blows my mind. Like, it literally, when I heard it, I was like, oh my God, this all suddenly makes sense. There's a reason why I design with intention. There's a reason why I am the way I am. There's a reason why a certain audience are attracted to me. And like, this is why this element of branding and brand identity for yourself is so important, because if you do not work on it, if you don't really know who you are and how you help people, the outside world will position you for yourself, which is something you don't want. You want to be in control of that, my friends. So always remember that. If you don't position yourself, you will be positioned, which is why it's so important to actively develop your own brand identity. So for me, one of the most important components of that brand identity, like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into this because it is within the course, but it does make sense. Like I said, these are all the things we have to do. We have to understand who we are before we can start even thinking about making plans and executing on stuff, because if we don't know this, we're just going to get fucking lost, which is why so many people set a plan, don't execute it, give up. 2 years later, they do something different, which is what I don't want for you. Do you know what I mean? So for me, there are 6 main areas, obviously, of focus: brand story, brand personality, brand name, services or products, verbal identity, and visual identity. Everybody here, no matter whether you're a designer or not, we all need to understand these. We all need to have this internal understanding of these 6 components. We need to be telling our story. We need to have some sort of mission, vision, purpose, some sort of alignment with that. You don't have to know it 100%, but you do have to have some sort of idea. Brand personality, you know, the reason brands have personalities is because certain audiences are attracted to them, which is why if it's a personal brand, you need to be authentically yourself, because it's really fucking difficult trying to be somebody that you're not all the time, and which is why the truth is so important. Like, anybody that has taken that brand identity course, one thing I consistently talk about is the truth and how important the truth is, and that rings true for you. Rings true for you too. That rhymes to me, doesn't it? How cute. Brand name, obvious. Services or products, we would think is obvious, but ultimately, like, I'm a big believer in, like, you know, I obviously niche down. I'm now into the visual identity, brand identity space, and obviously moving into the educational space within that. But I've been on calls with hundreds of creators over the course of the last 3 months, and it's amazing the confusion around the products and services. Not necessarily like what people do, but a lot of people don't actually understand how they help people. And one little tip I do want to give you right now is, like, imagine walking into a room at an event or at a conference, and somebody comes up to you, a potential client comes up to you and asks you, what do you do? If you say graphic designer, you're going to lose their attention straight away. Like, do not introduce yourself as the thing you do. I'm a logo designer, or I'm a visual identity designer, or I'm a brand strategist, because I don't even think actual graphic designers know what graphic designers do. So what I want you to do is I want you to start introducing yourself in a way that explains how you help people. So, for example, Timmy, ask me what I do.
What do you do, James?
That's a very good question, Timmy. I'm a motherfucking bridge. Let me see. You smiled, exactly, and nodded. More interesting than graphic designer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ultimately, my only role as a brand identity designer is to connect this brand to this audience and get this audience to connect with this brand. I am the person who builds a bridge between these two people. Now, that bridge is made out of logos, colours, verbal identities, visual identities. But ultimately, if I don't build this bridge, this brand can't connect to this audience and it doesn't make any money. And this audience goes off, fucks off somewhere and goes and finds this brand competitor. That is what I do.
So I'm the troll under the bridge.
You can be whatever you want, mate. You can't come under my bridge; it's too clean. But ultimately, what I'm here is like the point of this is like, don't tell people what you do. Tell them how you help them, and tell them how valuable you are. What I'm trying to explain with this is that without this bridge, this brand fails, and the only reason a brand can exist is if they're making money. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing they want. And our only role as a brand identity designer is to connect this brand to this audience. That is our only job. I don't care what anybody else says. That is our only job. What we do in the middle has to be executed with calculated creativity and all that jazz. But connecting brands and audiences to brands, that's the game we're in. So yeah, do that. Verbal identity and visual identity. So obviously how we speak to people. Motherfucking bridge. Perfect verbal identity for Made by James. You know, slightly rebellious, honest, a little bit different, which is kind of my voice pillars. And then obviously the visual identity is the stuff we wrap around. These are the things you have to do, okay? You have to do these because, excuse me, when we can physically manage our brand identity, when we're actively developing it internally, it allows us to create a desired brand image, how people perceive us from the outside. Because that is the reason why we, like, you know, if we don't position ourselves, we will be positioned. The reason we work so hard on our own brand identity is because we want to make sure that we are putting ourselves out into the world in a certain way. We're trying to tell our story, we're trying to share our visual identities, we're trying to show the work that we're doing because we hope that it resonates with people in the outside world and they can come into our world because they're attracted to it. So which is why there's a big difference between brand identity and brand image. The brand identity side of it is the stuff that we actively create internally. We're in control of that. But what it does is it basically manages the brand image, which is passively created from the outside world. Like, I can't help what Timmy thinks of me, but I can control what Timmy thinks of me. Probably a bad example, but do you know what I mean? Because Timmy knows me very well. But random Insta peeps around the world who connect with Made by James, they connect with Made by James because of the brand identity that I'm putting out there. They either like it or they don't. I don't want everybody to like me, and neither should you. You need to have a certain type of people that are looking to kind of work with you, like architects and people who own pet stores and boutique coffee shops that sell macaroons. Might not be my audience, but other designers and creators are. You're the people I'm creating for. All right, so remember that. We create this brand image so we can actively manage. No, we create this brand identity, sorry, this is why I'm doing it all live. Woohoo, one hit Rodney. Kind of really focusing on building this internal, actively kind of working on this brand identity. So all this passive kind of brand image stuff I can look after. Do you know what I mean? I'm in focus of that. Okie dokie, everybody. So there you go. That is before the plan. Before the plan. Right. Now we've gone through the stuff we have to do before the plan. We're now going to go into making the plan. This beautiful purple circle, lavender, purple, blue, violet. I'm not too sure what it is, but I like it. I'm really loving these new brand colours. Separate note, don't be scared to evolve your own identity, your own visual identity. Like, there's a lot of people making the design world a little bit boring at the moment, and there's a lot of room to bring some fun into it again. So yeah, don't be boring. Don't be scared of evolving. You know, evolve or die. God, it's dark, isn't it? Evolve or die. Truly. So for a long time, I made it up as I was going. Like I've mentioned, you know, I've been in the industry for 20 years now. For the first 5 years, it was basically survival. Well, to be fair, every day survival, let's be honest. But for the first 5 years, it was literally survival. Like, what could I do to get work in? I'll do anything. I'll draw on walls. I'll build apps, not very good ones. Do logos, not very good ones. Like build magazines, not very good ones, you know. But it was doing anything that I could to possibly survive. And as I started to gain traction and obviously worked in another agency for a little bit, then started Baby Giant in about 13, 14 years ago now, so in and around 2010, and again, building your own agency, survival, and then obviously kind of Made by James started happening. I started to kind of dive deeper into visual identities and more so brand identities now, but I kept on evolving. But I never really I knew I wanted to make more money. I knew I wanted to do more things. But I still never really, if I'm very honest with you, had like a detailed plan that was structured that I could follow year on year. Until this year. And things are changing because I've done really well stumbling around like some sort of twat on the internet. It's basically, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. You know, I know, like I said, I would go into a year like, okay, what I want to do is I want to write a book and I want to build a course and I want to work with clients and I want to make some money. Do you know what I mean? Like those were kind of my plans before, and I'd execute on those plans and I'd smash those plans and I'd get those goals. But like, how was I kind of measuring that success? You know, yes, I launched the course, but what was a successful course launch looking like? What was how many people did the course take? Like, what was the revenue it brought in? Like, did I manage to get all 5-star reviews? Like, did I get any refunds? Like, these are all the things that I'm now starting to kind of look at. And it's okay. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you that you've got to be like the perfect article, or like you don't have to plan. But if you do plan, you will get to where you want to be quicker. And this is the big thing I want to talk about within this Go Get 'em course, is the way I do it now. And whenever I learn stuff, I want to share it with you. That's the way I want to roll. For me, this is knowledge that I have learnt from books, I've learnt from my business mentor, and if that knowledge just stays with me, it dies with me, unless I share it with you. And I know how much this is helping me right now, and I want to give you the ability to learn it, use it, maybe add it into your life so you can level up and hit your goals and hit your targets. So there's this great book that I've been reading that my business coach gave me, Tyler Tolson, Traction. This is the book that is going to change the next decade for Made by James. The things that I'm going to talk to you today about are from this book. They are not Made by James's ideas. They are just things that Made by James is now executing within his business. I'm not going to go into the detail that this goes into, because if you want to get the book, go get it. It's fantastic. Traction by Gino Wickman. We got that, Timmy?
We got that.
But what I am actually going to do today is break down the very simple principles of that, which are the 10, the 3, the 1, and the 90. And I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible, because planning and executing your plan should be fun, and it shouldn't be boring. So let's dive into it. You can see this little grid thing here that I'm pretending that I can see too. This is just above my hand. Well, I don't know where to put my hand. But in the top hand corner, we've got the 10, the 3, the 1, the 90, and then the issues. And this is what this book goes into. And this is I am running traction, like I said, within Made by James today, and it's going to help me hit my 10-year target, because this is what these numbers stand for. 10-year North Star, we'll call it. 3-year picture, 1-year goal, 90-day plan, and what possible hazards are getting in the way. So this is how we break these down. And I know if you start to implement this kind of structure within your business, we're going to be on to a little bit of a winner. I'm going to show you a little bit of a kind of stripped back version of my 10, 3, 1 and 90. And then I'm going to talk to you about how we could possibly work with yours, and then we're going to go into how we execute these things. Okay, so Made by James is 10, 3, 1, 90 and the issues. So this is just to give you a bit of an idea of how I've been breaking this down. So my 10-year North Star with Made by James, the education platform, is to have 100,000 designers helped. There's also revenue targets attached to these things, but I don't want to scare you or me with these. But to give you an idea, because I love to be transparent with you, my 10-year target is 8 figures. Awkward. It's tough. It's going to be tough, but I know it's possible. But the reason I have put my goals set as my main North Star as 100,000 designers helped is because I know if I achieve that goal and I stick to that goal and I follow that dream, I know all the things that I want within my business will naturally happen. So what I want all of you to think about, and we can do this as we kind of progress into the next kind of phases of this, is start to think of, a possible North Star. And like, we cannot make 10-year plans. There's so much shit that happens in 10 years. Economies, life, natural disaster, war. I mean, there's all sorts of shit that can happen in 10 years. So I'm not asking you to make a 10-year plan. I just want you to have some sort of idea of what you want to do, who you want to be, how you want to help people. So, for example, it could be 1,000 clients helped. It could be, build an agency with 700 people in it, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So just have a think about this North Star for yourself. What I can then do then is I bring this and strip this back into a 3-year picture. And that 3-year picture always has a revenue target, but then it gets broken down into some actionable, measurable steps. So 20,000 designers helped. This is just a few snippets of my big picture. So 20,000 designers helped. 20 new tools and courses or /courses. 3 flagship products. 100 design resources. 7,500 merch items sold, newsletter to 50k. So like I said, there's obviously revenue targets within this as well, but as you can see, the things I'm doing is not like help designers build courses, build products, build resources. I've actually put numbers that I can measure to help me achieve these goals. Okay, so then what I do, 3-year plan, still like big, grand picture, super fucking overwhelming, 20,000 designers helped. My revenue, I will be very honest with you, in 3 years time is 7 figures. So like, like mid 7 figures. So like really overwhelming. I don't know how to do that. That's scaring me. It's making me poop my pants. But okay, let's. That's a lot of internal pressure going on, as you can see. But what we do is we then strip this back down into a 1-year plan. Okay, so breathe. Okay, I know my revenue targets for 10 years. I brought them down to 3. Right, now let's focus on 2024. Let's really focus on this year, because thinking about all this shit up here is too scary. It's too scary right now. But I know it's achievable. It's going to be fucking hard work, but it's scary. But I need to bring this down. So this year, what do I want to do? Okay, so I've got my revenue target, but then I go, right, if I want to help 20,000 designers in like 3 years' time, like what do I want to do this year? So I've broken it down to 2,000 designers helped. 2 new courses, 5 tools, 1 flagship program, 20 design resources, 100 MBJ merch items sold, plus 12k to my newsletter. There are other things that I'd like to do. I'd like to launch a new website. I'd like to find a brand sponsor. Done, Danique. And then launch 4 free courses. This is the first of the free courses I'd like to do. So I'm going to be doing one every quarter. So this is how we start to take this really, really, really big picture and strip it down and break it down into slightly more manageable chunks. But we might look at this and go, crikey, that's a lot. That's a huge amount to do in a year, and this is half of my list for this year. And this also gives you a bit of an idea of some of the stuff that I'm bringing out this year, so look forward to that. But the idea here is what I'm doing is I'm looking at my big picture and I'm trying to break it down into smaller, editable, or actually what I meant to say was edible chunks, because it can get really, really overwhelming when you look at something that's too grand. So then what we do is we work in 90-day windows. So in every single year there's a Q1, a Q2, a Q3 and a Q4. They roughly, they're not exactly 90 days, all of them obviously, but every 3 months. 12 months divided by 4 is 3 months, roughly 90 days if there's 30 days in a month, do you know what I mean? So, and this is the only thing we focus on, these 90-day windows, because I know if I hit my targets for my 90-day window, I'm going to be on target for my year goal, I'm going to be on target for my 3-year plan, and a step closer to my 10-year goal, my 10-year North Star. Makes sense? So we've gone from here, big, grand, not quite as big, but still difficult. Really achievable, but really, really difficult still. Right, what can I focus on right now that's going to help me get there? We're constantly bringing these things down, okay? So now we're into our 90-day plan. Okay, so why don't I break some of these things down? So what do I want to achieve over the next 90 days that's going to help me hit my year's target? The book Traction taught me this. Tyler's been helping with this, my business coach and my friend, my mentor. He says that, and it's true, I can see how it works. The best businesses are built in 90-day windows. They don't think they know where they're going, but they focus on 90 days and smash 90-day windows because it helps them consistently stay on track. And what these things also help us do is they stop us from getting distracted by all the fucking noise on the internet. All these things about other people's success, all these things about grow your audience to 500 million in 3.5 weeks, and how to have 10k months when you've been in the design world for 1.5 weeks, which we all know is bullshit. Do you know what I mean? What we're going to do is we're going to start planning our version of success, because if we hit these targets, we win. Fuck everybody else. Do you know what I mean? Well, don't fuck everybody else. That's not a very kind thing to say. But you know what I mean. Just your version of success is the only thing that matters. So let's break down this 90-day window. So they're called rocks within the book, as you can see I've used here. But like I said, if you are interested in really diving deep into this for your business, read the book. It's going to be really fucking helpful. So this month, what I want to do is I want to add 3,000 people to my newsletter. I want to build 6 design resources. I want to build 1 design tool. I want to build 1 course. I want to sell 250 merch items. I want to launch the RTC page on the MBJ site, which is the resources, tools and courses page. I want to find 3 affiliates to help me sell my courses, my tools and my resources. And I want to define the MBJ way process. This is something, because this is also new to me, I'm developing, but it's basically an internal structure that me and my team use to consistently stay on track, to know how to hire people, to know how to build courses the Made by James way, to know how to help people the Made by James way. So what it does is just an internal thing that always helps us stay on track. So I know this is very overwhelming. I know this is a lot of information, but I'm hoping you're starting to see how we can have a North Star and start to break this down into more manageable chunks that help us get to the places that we want to be. And then finally, obviously, we've got an issue slide. So what are the things that are going to stop us? What are the things that might possibly get in the way? What are the things that we can jump in front of to help us achieve our targets? So I'm thinking like, well, the most important thing for me right now is website build. Do you know what I mean? That is my shop front. You know, that is the thing that's going to help me grow my business and help me kind of engage with my audience and help me kind of grow my company. So if that website isn't built and isn't doing its job, it's going to get in the way of my targets. The economy, you know, it was tough last year. It's, you know, a turbulent time. We've this year got a presidential election in America. We've got a general election in the UK, and these things, you know, looming economy, recessions and stuff like this, these things can affect businesses. So what can we do to just negate that? How can we prepare for that? How can we jump in front of that? So rather than being like reactive to things, we're very much more proactive. Do you know what I mean? What are we going to do if this happens? What are we going to do if this happens? What are we going to do if this happens? Always having a backup plan. And then obviously another one for me is conferences and travel. Like what can we do to, like, how can I make sure my team is functioning really well while I'm away? How can I, you know, with the amount of travel, like 6 or 7 times a year, every other month or whatever it is, like, how can I keep this ship moving? How can I keep it going? Like, how can I keep my goals and objectives clear and moving while I'm away? And I'll tell you one thing right now, what I have done is I have hired Melinda Livesey. Melinda Livesey is now a part of Team Made by James. She is my creative director. She is my whip cracker. She is my team organizer. She is the person that tells me when I'm being stupid, when I have all these crazy ideas. She's the person that keeps me organized. Melinda, I love you. Thanks for coming on board. I'm excited to have you a part of Team Made by James. And together, we're going to change the world. All right. So yeah, this here is my plan. I don't know why I said it like that. This here is my personal plan. So let's take a look at what a possible plan might look like for you. You know, this, you don't have to copy this, but I just want to break it down in a way that makes it more accessible to understand. So we've got a 10-year, a 3-year, a 1-year, a 90-day, and the issues. Do you know what I mean? So, for example, like your revenue target, possibly, I'm just saying this is all made up numbers. You don't have to copy them, but they just give you an idea. So you might say, well, I want to earn 300,000 a year in 10 years' time. 10 years' time, remember? 10 years' time. Not this year, 10 years' time. And that looks like maybe 500 brands created in your lifetime. Do you know what I mean? In that 10 years. So, big lofty goal, 300,000 a year, 500 brands helped. You know, we might just be starting. Do you know what I mean? We might be halfway through. We might have only helped 5 clients last year. How the fuck we get to 300,000? But these are the things we need to do. We need to set these targets. So now we suck it down. Weird noise. Suck it down into a 3-year plan. So what does that look like? Okay, right. In 3 years' time, I want to make 100 grand a year. I want to have helped 100 brands. I want to, let's put some like social media targets on it. I want to grow my Instagram by 30,000. This is in 3 years' time. I want to grow my LinkedIn by 10,000. I want to have 4 client downloadable resources. I want to grow my newsletter by 3,000. I want to have a consistent marketing process in place. So that is what your 3-year plan looks like. Okay, so let's go suck it back down into a 1-year plan. Suck it up, boys. This is, so yeah, the 1-year plan. Okay, so right, 3-year plan, 100 grand. So right, what do I need to do this year to help me get a step closer to that? Right, well, if I can make 40 grand this year, if I can help 25 clients this year, 25 brands helped, grow Insta by 10,000, grow LinkedIn by 3,000, build a newsletter by 1,000. If I can define a content strategy, if I can build an email lead magnet, if I can choose an email application, if I can build 5 banging case studies, like that would look like a really, really, really successful year to me. And this is the most important thing. Like, these are just made up shit, do you know what I mean? But what they hopefully do is start to give you an idea of how you should be breaking down the things you want to achieve. So, for example, I haven't gone help brands grow Insta, grow LinkedIn. I've gone 25 brands helped. I want to make 40K. I want to grow LinkedIn by 3,000. I want to grow Instagram by 10,000. Like, these are numbers that we can stay accountable to. Because what we do then is we suck it down into a 90-day plan. So what can we do in the next 3 months, the next 90-day window, that's going to help us stay on target for our 1-year plan, which helps us stay on target for our 3-year picture, which helps us get one step closer to our 10-year North Star. So this, if I was breaking all this down and I was this person, I'd be right. In this next 90 days, I need to make 10K. 40K divided by 4 into a 90-day window is 10K. Right, what are the things I need? Well, if I want to help 25 brands in a year, I need to help 6 this quarter to help me stay on track to get to 25. So I need to grow my Insta by 10K this year. Well, if I break that down and divide that by 4 into a 90-day window, I need to grow my audience by 2,500. Do you know what I mean? So what we're doing is we're taking these targets that we've set ourselves and breaking them down into much more manageable chunks. Build 2 case studies by February the 15th, content plan by January the 18th, email provider by the 5th of March. Now, what's really, 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 really important is you set some dates to these targets, because otherwise what you'll do is you'll get to the last week of March in your quarter in Q1 and go, fucking hell, I've got all this shit to do. But whereas if we kind of go, right, I want to build 2 case studies by the 15th of Feb. Do you know what I mean? You want a content plan by January the 18th. You want to sort your email provider out by March the 5th. You know, by looking at these dates, what is the most important thing to you right now? Right, content plan is the first thing on my list. I need to nail that. What can I do over the next 3 or 4 days to make sure I hit that 18th of January target or whatever it is? So by putting these dates on things, you can actively start to prioritize what you need to do. So like, because for example, like when we talk about 6 brands helped, like, that's great and all, but what it starts to do is like you start to go, right, I need to find 6 clients. What do I need to do to find 6 clients? Well, I need to come up with a content strategy. I need to maybe do some cold email. I maybe need to reach out to my existing clients and see if they've got any more work or can put me and refer me to any other clients. So by setting these targets, you then have other things and other goals, or rocks as they're called, that you need to achieve to be able to make these targets happen. Make sense? Does it make sense, Timmy?
Yeah.
It makes sense. So, issues, like some of the issues, again, like recessions, time, confidence, website, understanding our own brand, whatever it is. Like, these are some of the things you can look at that might get in the way. Like, what can we do to get in front of any particular issues that might stop us from kind of working in these 90-day windows? And like I said, like, this plan looks so daunting when it's written down, but the only thing we focus on is that 90-day window. And the 90-day window, if you keep smashing your fucking 90-day windows every single 90 days, you're going to win. So, we've done before the plan, we've just done making the plan, and now we're going to go on to executing the plan. And also, like I said, I didn't say, but I'm going to say now, there are like PDF sheets and things that you can fill out that can help you do this thing. I'm going to give you some ways to stay accountable and all the rest of it. Read the book, anything you want to do. Like I said, I would love to be able to execute your plans for you, but I can't. Like, after this course, I can't physically, like, actually help you do the thing, unless you want to pay for coaching, which I'm now offering. Well, I will be offering. But my point is that I cannot help you get up and go every single day to do these things. You have to make this plan yourself. I'm giving you all the information you need to be able to execute and be able to do them and be able to plan. But you really, really have to, like, start owning it. Really fucking owning your shit and getting it done, all right? The most important thing, 90-day windows. I know I kept on saying it. within the last making the plan bit, but the only thing you should be doing is working in these 90-day windows. Don't think of anything else. The only way to execute these plans is to focus on the 90-day window. That is it. That is your only mission, your only objective. Smash my 90 days. And then when you smash that 90 days, you build another 90 day. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're working in these small increments, the reason that 90 days is good because it's long enough for you to achieve a lot of shit. It's also short enough for you not to get bored. Do you know what I mean? That's why these 90-day windows are so important. So, for me, my 90-day window, my revenue target, my rocks, 3K to my newsletter, 6 design tools, 6 design resources, 1 tool, 1 course, 250 merch items sold, RTC page up, find 3 affiliates, define new MBJ way process. These are the only things, this is obviously a shorter list of mine, but these are the things I'm doing this quarter. These are the things that I'm bringing out. These are the things that me and my team are focusing on. And I know this is probably something that you're also thinking right now is like, I haven't got a team. Like, how can I do all these things? I'm going to talk about this later. But like, this is really important that the ultimate kind of objective here is that you are only focusing on the things that are within your 90-day windows. Because we know that if we achieve these things, in these 90 days, we're going to get closer to our 1 year, 3 year, 10 year places. All right. So here are some things that I'm doing to stay on top of my sizzle. Okay. So all tasks for Q1, that 90-day window are written out. I've got a Notion doc which outlines every single thing that I need to do, and then underneath all of those things I've got all of the bits and pieces I want to do within that. So each like website is then broken down into a load of different things. Like build a course is broken down into a load of different things, you know. Like find my 3 affiliates, like lists of people who I think would be really good affiliates to help me sell the Made by James stuff and all the rest of it. So all of this is written down. It's got to come out of your head and onto some sort of piece of paper, shareable document or whatever it is. So you can either share it with your team or access it yourself. Like Notion I use, which is great. We use Slack and Notion in our internal structures. I have 1 meeting a week with my leadership team. So that is like a big overarching meeting where we're saying every week, did we achieve all of our targets? What are our goals? Like within, like I said, you can read Traction more, but I have like weekly revenue targets. Like where's the money coming in from? Like clients, courses, newsletters, blah, 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 blah. Like how much is my newsletter growing? How much is the audience is growing? Like how many new clients have come on board? How many new inquiries? Like how many new ideas? Like it's all being tracked. It's all new for me too. Like, don't get scared of this. This is brand new for me today. I have had to change the way I structure my business to start running Traction, and it's difficult to get used to, but like I'm kind of 2, 3, 4 weeks in now, actually like physically, I've known about it for a while obviously, but I'm now executing it like properly, and it's changed everything. It really has changed everything. What I also do is I have daily stand-ups with all the teams. So I have 1 meeting a week, which is a 90-minute meeting with the leadership team. So that's me, Melinda, and Made by James has investors now. Did I say that? Have I said that yet? Made by James has investors. People who have come on board to help me build my mission. Exciting. So we have 1 meeting with the investors and 1 meeting with me and 1 meeting with Melinda. That's my leadership team. So we spend 90 minutes talking about all the things, talking about the rocks, talking about all the things we need to achieve, talking about how we did last week, what we're going after this week. We're all on board. I then have those daily stand-ups with every single member of my team. So everybody comes on board. Jord, Adi, Lauren, me, Melinda. What we do is we all sit there and we talk about what did we do today? What are we going after tomorrow? What's getting in the way? Every single day. So everybody is always staying on track for the things that we need to achieve. Number 4, everyone is assigned their individual to-dos. This is really, 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 really important, especially if you've got a team. We're going to go into if you don't have a team on the next load of slides, but if you do have a team, even if it's a small team, like, you've got to let go to grow. This is something that I keep getting told. You know, you've got to help people stay accountable. You've got to give people the opportunity to start to lead. So people within your team have to be assigned certain individual to-dos. So, for example, like AD is in charge of web. George's in charge of client work. I'm more of in a visionary role. Melinda's kind of controlling all the bits and pieces, but I'm in control of a course. I'm in control of a tool. I'm in control of newsletter. Do you know what I mean? So there's all these things, but everybody is assigned a certain thing and they own it. They look after it. All right. Weekly income and targets are tracked. Like I mentioned, there's a spreadsheet every single week. So on the leadership calls, what did we bring in this week? How much did we make from courses? How much did we make from clients? How much did we make from, affiliates? Blah, 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 blah. Like, how many people did we add to our newsletter? How many people did we talk to this week about new opportunities? So everything is being tracked, because you remember, like, even though we've got our 90-day window, those 90-day windows are broken down into weeks. So you can actually track your target. Like, am I on track to getting to achieving my goals for this 90-day window? Like, oh, that was a bad week. That was a really good week. Why was it a good week? Why was that a bad week? And then you can start to kind of really assess these things. Then, obviously, I have my own personal to-do list. So I've got my quarterly rocks, which the whole team has to do. I've then got the things that I need to do this quarter. But then I have my personal to-do list every single day, which changes. What am I going after today? What is going to help me achieve that goal? What is going to help me kick that rock? What's going to help me get to my quarterly target, and all the rest of it? And like I mentioned, Slack and Notion. As a team, we talk only on Slack, and all of our kind of targets and tick boxes and all of our kind of to-dos are within a Notion doc that everybody has access to. Everybody can edit, everybody can add comments to, and yada, yada, yada. But it's really, really important that, like, and it's something that I'm learning more and more and more. It's like so important to be super, super efficient with your team. And these daily stand-ups, I used to have meetings with my team, obviously, and we used to have them when we needed them. But now we have them every single day, and it creates this wonderful, like, teamwork, culture, and everybody's helping each other. Everybody's rowing in the same direction, which is fucking dreamy. But I understand, like I said, that not everybody has a team. Like I said, I worked by myself for a very, very long time, and my team has grown and it has been built. And obviously recently we've just onboarded my very, very good friend and now creative director, Melinda Livesey. We now have investors. So, like, it's growing. The beast is growing. But it wasn't always this case. So if I was you and I was back a decade ago, whatever, and I had a very small team or I was by myself, I would do these things, which I'm about to say. So if I was working solo or as a freelancer, what would I do? I would make sure all tasks for Q1 are written out. So that's still essential. You need to make sure that all of your targets, all of your goals, all of your objectives, all your measurables are written down somewhere. I would find a friend. You know, we all have friends. Not all of our friends might be as driven or as organised or as focused as we might be. So what you need to do is you need to find somebody and chat to them every single day. Like, these daily stand-ups I have with my team are 10-15 minutes max. Like, find a friend that you can trust, that you can speak to at the same time every single day, and you just go through the process of going through this particular process. What did I do today? What am I going after tomorrow? What is getting in my way? And then your friend would say exactly the same thing to you. This is what I've done today. This is what I'm going after tomorrow. This is what's getting in my way. And you can chat about these things. Okay, but it's really, really important that you're having these daily stand-ups with either yourself or with a friend. I suggest you find a friend because you can keep each other accountable. Another thing you could possibly do is start an accountability group, 3 to 7 people. I know there's some people who bought the Logo Legends course who have started accountability groups, like a little group of like 4 or 5. But what you could do is you could find other friends who are freelancers, other friends who are in business, and just once a week jump on a call, coffee call or whatever you can call it, and you start an accountability group, and everybody can talk about what they're going after, what are some of the things that are getting in their way, and then as a group you can all help and discuss and kind of push each other forward and keep each other accountable. Like, accountability groups are really easy to set up. Fucking ask people. Like, just there'll be people like you right now who might be lonely, who might be looking for somebody to stay accountable, but sometimes we're too shy and we don't ask. And I guarantee, like, I'm a prime example of the more I ask for stuff, the more help I ask for, the better things get. Do you know what I mean? You really need to find a way of asking for help. Do you know what I mean? So, like, there'll be people that you're friends with online. There'll be people that you're friends with within your network or within your community. Like, reach out to them and say, look, I really want to stay on target this year. I've got some big goals and I really want to start an accountability group. Would you like to be involved? It's an hour max every Friday morning, and we'll just sit down and have a coffee, and there's 3 or 4 of us and we can all just chat about our business and keep each other accountable. Super, super important. Like, creativity, business, entrepreneurship can be fucking lonely. So be sure to reach out to people. Whiteboard, Notion, Slack, you need to see your list, like I said. So even if you are a freelancer, an individual, like, make sure you can see the things that you need to achieve. It's no good them being in your brain. They need to be out. So start a Notion, start your own Slack channel, basically list all the things, all your targets that you need to achieve, and look at them every single day. Every single day. You need to also keep your weekly income and targets, that they need to be tracked. You know, just like, even whether you're in a team or whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're a freelancer, you still need to be tracking what's happening every single week. How many did I grow on Instagram? How much money did I bring in on client work? How much did I grow LinkedIn? Like, how many new inquiries came in? How many new projects did I start? You need to be having a really good understanding of these numbers, because what happens is, like, over the year, and when over a few years, when you've got all these numbers, you can start to predict quiet times, busy times, and then you can organise your shit around these times. So you don't have this, oh, I've always got no work in August. Do you know what I mean? Because you can predict that, and you can make sure you're doing something in August that makes you money. You know, whether it's building resources or courses or coaching or whatever it is, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You can start to predict the future when you start seeing all these numbers down. And then again, personal to-do lists. Super essential. Like I said, I've got my quarterly goals that the company has. We then have our assigned quarterly goals individually as a team. But then every single day I need to do something that helps me achieve these things. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Dokie. We're kind of at the end. Like, wow. Like, I've talked a lot. I was expecting this to be maybe like a 20-minute little shindig, but it's probably ended up being probably closer to 40. Possibly longer. But Recapofantastico. Get it? You know me, I like to make up a word. These are the things you need to do. Go back to the beginning of this video and rewatch it, because it's free and it costs you fuck all. Learn it, execute it, live it, because I guarantee the people here who are watching this that put this into action will be the people who are successful this year. I promise. Read traction, focus on 90-day windows, ask for help. There's a PDF that you can start to fill out, an editable PDF that you can fill out, start adding your bits and pieces to. Use it, all right? I might make it in Excel. I'll make a few versions so you can mess around with it. And lastly, focus on your success. Like, This is the thing that is going to change your world. Like, it's so easy to get distracted. It's so noisy. It's so difficult to stay on track when you don't have a plan, because you're constantly being pulled in different directions in somebody else's plan. You end up chasing other people's versions of success. And you don't want to do that, because I know if you set your targets for, you know, a North Star in 10 years, a 3-year picture, what does that look like? A 1-year goal and then a 90-day plan. If you, at the end of this year, if you've achieved your 1-year plan, you're a success. Fucking brilliant. Do you know what I mean? And then you're one step closer to your 3-year plan, which means you're one step closer to your 10-year North Star. So thank you to you. Thank you to Danique for allowing me to build this thing for the world. I'm never going to stop trying for you. I've got a lot of shit I'm going to help you with this year. I'm a designer that helps other designers, and I'm never going to stop. So fucking thank you.